Pascagoula residents are taking action to stop what they call a new kind of pollution threatening their community.
Amber Spradley has been following this story since Friday when we first told you about the neighborhood group filed a federal lawsuit against the Environmental Protection Agency. She's here in studio with what she's learned. Amber, on what grounds are these residents suing?
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer Hugh. The Cherokee Concerned Citizens are suing the EPA over allowing Chevron to convert recyclable plastic waste into renewed fuels and gases. It's a process tested at Chevron's Pascagoula refinery. The neighbors nearby say living in the shadow of these industries puts their health in jeopardy. The residents are pushing for EPA to roll back its approval, along with environmental advocates from all over. Residents living in this Cherokee Drive neighborhood are located about 1 mile away from large chemical plants like Chevron, steps away from jobs the industries create and the pollution the neighbors dread. We told you back in February,
every one of these folks have been contacted.
Residents fighting decades for cleaner air.
But I know one thing, I know we all can't continue to live in it.
Now, the Cherokee Concerned Citizens taking action against the EPA.
This is not a community that can take additional toxic pollution, and they should not be subjected to that without EPA, which is supposed to be looking out for their interests and protecting their health.
With support from an environmental law firm called Earth Justice, the neighbors are now petitioning the U.S. Court of Appeals to review the EPA's 2022 consent order authorizing Chevron to use pyrolysis oil. That's the process of converting recyclable plastic waste into reusable gas and fuel. 18 new chemicals Chevron has been authorized to produce and sell since last November. Environmental attorney Catherine O'Brien claims the production process will pose a cancer risk for nearby residents 250,000 times higher than what the EPA itself deems unreasonable. She points to the EPA's own consent order we've obtained, greenlighting Chevron's request. It's signed by Madison Lee, director of EPA's New Chemicals Division. While WLOX did not find that estimate in the agency's document, it does show a few things, like the EPA determines the chemicals it approves present an unreasonable health or environmental risk, with data on the risks involved lacking. Still, the agency points to a few, like skin, eye, and respiratory irritation, pneumonia, as well as toxicities ranging from systemic, genetic, carcinogenic, and reproductive development. Out of the 18 chemicals, EPA finds 11 to be, quote, highly hazardous, while 7 are considered, quote, a moderate environmental hazard. Chevron says in part, the claim is based on EPA's initial risk screening, which was taken out of context and doesn't reflect how it would actually be done given the processes and safeguards. The EPA's initial screening is very conservative and doesn't represent the actual risk to our community or employees.
If Chevron or EPA, more importantly, felt that there was inadequate information to characterize the risk, it should have ordered more testing. The estimate that we have is cancer risk to up to 1 in 4 people. That's the basis for the agency's decision, and that's the number that the community in Pascagoula is grappling with today.
Cherokee community members from all walks of life came together Thursday over their shared health concerns, telling Thriving Earth volunteers over Zoom what it's like to live where they do.
I don't let the kids play outside much.
We always have an eye tearing and skin irritation.
It's not as bad as it was. The dust is, but we still getting the fumes off and on. Over the years, I've developed some type of, which I thought was hives or allergies to something, but I started itching just out of nowhere.
We don't stay outside very often anymore.
WLOX connected with EPA officials who declined to speak on the matter. Meanwhile, advocates across the nation are calling for the agency's transparency. We spoke with former EPA Administrator Judith Inc. In part, she says, I applaud the legal action taken by Earth Justice to protect the people. I have written to the EPA to immediately remove approval for this practice, but have not heard back. U.S. Senator Jeffrey Merkley from Oregon writing the EPA Wednesday, 13 questions regarding the newly approved chemicals, demanding answers by the end of the month. His letter is addressed to current EPA Administrator Michael Regan, who we also have a pending list of questions out to. We reached out to our own congressional delegation, Representative Mike Ezell, and Senator Roger Wicker, who said they don't know enough about the matter to comment at this time. Chevron tells WLOX, quote, we'll ensure it can be done safely or not at all. We're proud to be a part of the community for 60 years, and whatever the future holds, will continue to operate safely for all. The energy giant ran an initial trial initial batch through the refinery last November, live monitoring found the facility function and emission levels, quote, normal. Now, data shows the world produces more than 380 million types of plastic, while about 9,000 pounds of it rest in landfills each year. Soon to come, we're taking you inside the Chevron refinery to learn more about the pyrolysis process, turning that leftover plastic into reusable fuel and energy. Of course, we are still waiting to hear back from the EPA, but that's all we have for now. In studio, Amber Spradley, WLOX News Now.